Now to the latest trend that's sweeping the internet.
So-called NFT.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you I know everything there is to know about NFTs. In reality, no one knows what the hell is going on when it comes to marketing, selling, buying, investing, or even creating NFTs. It's the Wild West.
I think NFTs are here to stay in perpetuity.
So-called experts think they can predict how well something is going to sell. Other so-called experts will tell you that one is more valuable than the other. Different experts will tell you how to schedule a drop the proper way. And another expert will tell you it's a bubble. They all have one thing in common: they don't know shit. What's going on, guys? My name's Corey Vanderploeg at CoreyPhoto on Twitter and Instagram. Let's jump right into it. Like I said, I don't know everything, or anything for that matter. All I want to share with this video is my experience making, minting, and selling my own NFTs, as well as working on other projects with different platforms and artists. And before I start, here's a blatant plug for my OpenSea collection, now live on OpenSea.io. I have 4 collections, all very different, which I'll get into in a minute, but just check them out if you have a chance. The link's in the description. NFTs, and how I explain them to most people.
Why would you pay for an NFT when you can look at it for free?
Is that an NFT is simply digital ownership. If you have $30 million Basquiat painting, you wouldn't hang it on your wall, you'd probably store it. And if you wanted to display it, you'd probably have someone replicate it and then hang it on your wall, while the real one is safe and appreciating in your archive. That's where the value is, in the ownership. So owning an NFT, especially from a reputable artist, is simply a secure way to own the art digitally. Sure, you can show it like a painting, but we live lives in digital spaces like Instagram and Facebook, and that's where you can show your pieces and collections. Or just store it in your wallet and let it appreciate. The most important thing about collecting art is the ownership. And an NFT is how someone much smarter than me figured out a secure way to possess it digitally. My intro into NFTs. I've been doing a lot of working with Platon the past few years. It started with assisting and now into collaboration with documentary films and now NFTs. I was lucky enough to cut and shoot a few mini docs that were sold as NFTs through a collaboration with OpenSea and Edward Snowden. Fun fact, in order to get Ed Snowden onto a clubhouse to speak to Platon about the drop and avoid all kinds of tracing from the government, he actually video called me and used my clubhouse through my phone to make it work. I just switched my name and profile photo. Definitely a cool day. These pieces went on sale and it was a nice success, and you can still buy them on OpenSea from secondary buyers. After this successful drop, Platon pushed the boundaries once again with his next drop in collaboration with Legend, called I Love You, I Hate You. These created works of art were also collectibles, and I'll let you get the gist from Platon.
I've had the great privilege to have photographed some of the most powerful people in history. What happens if I take a Platon picture and strip away 97% of that visual information, and I leave you just with 3% of data? Perhaps it's the most important part of all my pictures.
For this one, he wanted to keep it as analog as possible, and I animated the eyes with Platon using After Effects and completely original music made by Platon in his studio. The effect is amazing, and just wait till you see what happens on his next few drops. Check out legend.art for more info. What I've learned through this whole process is that this is simply just the art game in a digital world. More and more we're living our lives through our phones. More and more our lives are becoming digital. So is it not just a matter of time that we start doing mostly everything digitally, especially selling art? Platon is at the top of the food chain when it comes to selling fine art, showing in galleries, and simply living and breathing in the art world. So it's natural progression for him to move into this space, especially since it's so hot right now, or it was for that matter. But really what I've learned in this space is brand new and nobody really knows what's going on yet. And it's these crypto millionaires, the ones buying up these one-of-a-kind or first-of-a-kind NFTs simply because the crypto space has been so fruitful for them thus far. But really, all you can do is create, be unique, and enter the space with an open mind and be excited to try something new. Which leads me to my NFTs. After doing these drops with OpenSea, Legend, Platon, and a few more, it was time for me to experiment. So I approached this in a few different ways. First, I made collectibles, something like trading cards. I called them iconic tapes in a digital world. What I did was take extremely rare cassette tapes, photograph, and drop them into a blank template, which I also shot. I gifted a few away to some big name collectors in the NFT world, people like Mark Cuban and so on. I had a giveaway on my Instagram. I was able to sell a couple, and that covered my gas fees and the cost to set it up. It also covered the cost to invest into a new collection. Second, I made another collection, and this was some of my moving portraits. For a quick take on moving portraits, check out the quick start guide, link in the description. I simply converted them into high-res GIFs, uploaded them to OpenSea, and boom, now they're on sale. Quick thing about OpenSea, you have to pay gas fees once to post items for sale. Like I said, you only have to do it once, and it's generally about $30 to $60. After that one-time fee, it's free for everything else you post. Third, I went to Fiverr. It's a really great website to find cheap work, so I found some artists to animate some of my images. Now this is hit or miss, and a lot of it was miss. But some turned out really cool, and you can see them posted here. The animation is truly first base, but they have a pretty cool effect, and I'm happy with how they turned out. Boom, on sale. Lastly, I went deep into getting a great animator to work on some of my images. I went to Darling, a visual effects company in Toronto, and Steve McGregor went in on these. Shout out to Steve McGregor. When we went back and forth over a couple weeks of fine-tuning these, and I couldn't be more thrilled with how they turned out. Steve did an incredible job on subtlety in making these movements and parallaxing fit the aesthetic of my images and visual signature. This whole experiment, not including the last visual effects artist, was only about $320. I quickly made that money back with a couple sales, so I think it was worth it. I also deeply believe this will catch on, and my NFTs might be worth a lot simply because they were minted in 2021. If I'm wrong, I made some cool work, opened a new door to visual effects, and made enough cash to buy a round of beers for my friends. The conclusion is, if you look through my collection, you'll see I'm not getting rich from this, not even close. But it's a great way to dip your toes in, learn about new spaces that have tons of room for innovation, experimentation, and improvement. And we're getting in early while it's still cheap to mint and create. It's early, so there's still a ton of limitations and criticisms, like being bad for the environment due to computing power needed for a transaction, high gas fees during peak hours, not being able to have a no reserve auction. Just give it a Google and see for yourself. But I do think it's lucrative for artists that are trying to support themselves. And with that said, go check out my collections on OpenSea. I'll be giving away a tape collectible. All you have to do is simply like one of my pieces on OpenSea. The link is in the description. If you have any questions, please leave a message below and I will do my best to answer anything you want to know. Treat the comments section like a message board for this topic. Cheers, guys. My name's Corey Vanderplu at CoreyPhoto on Twitter and Instagram. Like I said, reach out if you have any questions, and happy shooting.